eventually in like a grant to stay at the residence center of Columbia College. But you know, I have to move out for the summer because it just gets crazy expensive, right? So I got an apartment with my friends, married couple, over this past summer, and I went out on a date and saw the Blair Witch Project. So I come home and this isn't working. I need this for the story. Okay, I come home the next morning and I'm thinking, you know, I'm gonna be funny, I'm gonna set some little stones out around the porch and stuff like that, you know, like everybody thinks that when they go and see it and they live with people, whatever. And I turn around into the gate, and mind you, this is up north side, just north of Belmont on Sheffield Avenue. We got like the second floor of a house there for the summer. And I come around through the gate, and there is a cat lying on the 4th step up from the ground, you know, right up on my front porch. Now, it's one thing if like a cat just died there, right? But there was a blood mark and thrown from the street or somewhere and hit the back part of the step and then fell forward. So knowing that I had, you know, roommates and neighbors with cats, not my roommates particularly, but yeah, my neighbors had 2 cats. I think another neighbor had 1, and there's dogs next door and stuff like that. I realized this is up to me to pick it up and do something with it, right? So I have to grab some paper towels, right, and picked it up. It's completely stiff already. Had to do some cleaning, but if you go to 3329 North Sheffield, please don't tell the people that live there about it. They don't want to hear it. But you can see a small, you know, circle of really faded blood that's right there on that step that I had to clean up that morning. So, it's me living in Chicago. Yeah, it happened last summer.
This is where I work. This is Director's Cut Video. Make my adventure. It's where most of the time I spend amongst the madness of the city is at this video store. And hello. And this is where I work, and that's about it. And it's where I spend my whole time freezing my butt off. And that's someone I work with. That's Danielle. Say hello.
Oh God, hi.
And that's the broken popcorn machine, the famous broken popcorn machine. People come in and ask for popcorn, but of course we don't have any popcorn, ever.
Okay, so it's a really windy day in Chicago. I'm talking about like garbage things flying down the street. Those cheap little plastic things they put the reader in are end over end like tumbleweed, like on a Gunsmoke TV show down the street. So I decide that I'm gonna go get my dry cleaning, thinking I'm pretty cool because wisely I've chosen the dry cleaner inside my building. So about 6 seconds before I walk through the door to go to the entryway to get my dry cleaning, I hear this crash. It sounds like a bomb going off, and apparently the building did not ever feel the need to inspect the mortar or take a look at the bricks on a building, because the wind had blown the bricks off the top corner off the building, and they had tumbled 11 floors, through the roof, through all the stuff in between, through the ceiling, and shattered on the slate. It looked like Beirut in our entryway.
Okay. So my name's Dan. I'm a photography major at Columbia College, and about 2 months ago I went out for my photojournalism class, and I wanted to take pictures of homeless people. So I went down to Maxwell Street and was walking around, found a picture of a door with a painting of Jesus Christ in front of the same door, and so I was taking a picture of it, thought it was cool, and I heard this voice from behind me say, well, that's alright and everything, but what's it mean? So I turn around and there's this homeless man there, long beard, kind of heavy set, and I start talking with him. Turns out his name is Dan also, and once upon a time he went to Columbia College and his major was in photography. And so then he started showing me around his place and took me up into the attic, and on the side of the wall of the attic he had a bunch of his old photographs from college pinned up, and basically on the wall were pictures along the same route that I was taking at the time of homeless men. And so we were sitting there kind of in silence talking to each other, and well, in silence talking to each other, yeah, right. But and he just said, he goes, yeah, these are some of the pictures I took when I was in college at Columbia. And he goes, but I never thought I was going to be one myself. And so just paused, and in a strange way, his name's Dan. He used to go to Columbia College. He was a photography major, taking pictures of homeless people, and now he's homeless. And so, in some strange way, it was kind of meant to be that I met him, I think. So that's my story of Chicago.
Good. Okay. Do I have to say my name and everything?
Whatever you want.
Okay. So when I moved to Chicago, this was like maybe 3 weeks after I moved to Chicago, me and Justin my husband were driving in the car over to our friend's house, and we'd had all these other weird incidences happen that evening, but I won't put those on film because they were really bad. So this is one that's PG. So anyway, so we're driving down the road, and there's a big, huge blazer in front of us, and we realize, that they're kind of swerving around, and I'm like, I'm driving, Justin's like, stay back, because they could be drunk, so we're like, okay. And there's all these cars parked on the side of the road, and they're swerving really close to the cars. I'm like, oh, they're just whatever. So then we're driving faster and faster, and then we get to a red light, and they stop in front of us, and it's normal. So then there's a little break in the cars. And then they take off in front of us, and they run right into the back of all these parked cars and smush them all up, and their car almost flips over, and all the airbags come out. And it was very traumatizing. And that's my story in Chicago. We drove away.
Okay. So when I first came to school here, my friends and I were really bored one night, and we didn't know what to do. So we went to Belmont, and we just started walking around, and we snuck into this bar, where we met these two guys, who then took us to this other bar, where they knew the owners. And so we're sitting around, drinking or whatever, and my roommate hits me on the shoulder and says, isn't that the guy from Soul Asylum? And I look down, 2 people down, sitting next to us, and it was him, and I forgot his name, but it's the guy with the funny hair, that's all knotted. So anyways, my other roommate who was sitting next to me started talking to this guy who was sitting next to her, who was his drummer, and his drummer introduced all of us to him, and then my roommate went out on a date with him. He took her to the top of the Hancock building, and then they went to their hotel room and hung out.
Isn't he married to Winona Ryder?
No. No, this is after Winona Ryder.
That's a good story. Too bad it didn't happen to you.
Yeah, really. So that's my story, my Chicago story.
Anytime.
I was at my boyfriend's apartment, and we were just watching TV, and we looked out the window because we heard a lot of shouting, and there was this homeless man, and he was in this long brown trench coat, and his hair was all gross, and he was just standing there looking down the street, just yelling at people. And we saw him take out a gun and point it at someone, and then he started running away, and then 5 minutes later we heard a shot.
That's it.
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm gonna buy those tonight.
Okay.
That's quite a deal you've got going there. $2 off? Beat it.
Okay, your total is $11.85.
All right. How much was it? What'd you say, 11 what?
$11.85.
Okay.
20.
Thank you. I'll get those in a minute.
Dakota, you're on TV. Not good. It's not. There you go. Have a nice day.
All right, thanks.
Well, there you have it. There's buildings. The voyage, our trek has started here in Chicago, and over here is Grant Park, and nothing's happening. It's just a tourist attraction. There's more to Chicago than just tourist attractions. We have to talk to the man. The man on the street. The man in the video stores. The women in the video stores. The people of Chicago are the real attractions. not the parks and the skyscrapers. And so the journey ends. The day is drawn nigh. The train approacheth. Our lives are like the train.